Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Reading is Freedom podcast, where we come to unlock our minds and reclaim our power. So, as you all know, of course, I'm your most gracious host, Miss Sasha. And I am so happy once again to be able to be in company with a phenomenal sister, y'all. Oh man, you guys are in for a treat, okay? Sister Khadijah Steward, who is Philly born and raised, okay? Holla. And she is the founder and executive director of Dijah's Diverse Training Services. And guess what? She is an author as well. Okay. So, you know, I had to have the sister on the Reading is Freedom podcast. Okay. So please, y'all, give it up for Sister Khadijah. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Sasha. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I'm honored to be on your platform. I really am.
Oh man. Well, guess what? You already know the honor is mutual. I appreciate what you are doing out here in the community. Okay. You are definitely making an impact, and the people need to know about what you are doing. All right.
Alhamdulillah.
So, with that being said, I would love for you to start us off with telling everybody about yourself, who you are. Of course, we know you're from Philly, but I want you to say it, you know what I'm saying? And you tell us about that Philly upbringing that you come from.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for having me. Once again, as Sasha said, I am Khadijah Steward, founder and director of Dijah's Diverse Training Services, born and raised in Philadelphia, which was the reason for Dijah's Diverse Training Services being formed. I'm this little girl from the hood of Philly that got the opportunity to go to college after taking buses and trains. And like, I didn't have that silver spoon journey of getting my education. So, and I always promised that if the Creator allowed me to make it out of the hood, I would give back. I would give back. And I've been doing that ever since. So, graduated from Westchester University, and then went on to become an insurance claims adjuster, a job I knew nothing about the very first day I started. That took me across the country. So I have worked every type of insurance claim you can name in this country, from inland marine, which I didn't know about boats, and I soon learned, pharmaceutical claims. I did housing claims. I did cars. I had fleets of trucks and motorcycles. So yeah, that was the corporate world. Never, ever, ever thinking about becoming a mother. And then at the age of 30, I became a mother to a preemie. I was 6 months pregnant in California, and went into labor early. So that experience kind of dove me into motherhood. And then it just kept happening after that, right? Moved back to the East Coast because it didn't work out in California. I longed for my mother. My mother was still back in Philly. And after having a baby at preemie, I couldn't be away from my mother. I don't know what it was, but something drew me back to her. And I needed that motherhood love to get through that. And then got married again, and had my second child, who was born with Down syndrome. So now I'm a mom of all of these things after saying I wasn't going to be a mother up until the age of 30, right? So out came Dijah Communication. Actually, it wasn't a nonprofit at that point. And I was teaching welfare to work moms. They call it TNAF now, I think, but it was called welfare to work back then. And I wrote my own curriculums and taught women how to be customer service reps in the insurance claims world. I did that for about 2, 3 years. I hired teachers and a keyboard operator, which was my mother at the time, to teach women how to type. And I hired an English teacher to teach women how to write effectively in business. And that was so thrilling. Oh my gosh, I got so much out of that because I was giving back to the community in which I came from, right? And then I started doing recruiting, and I started doing medical billing and coding training. I did that for a while under Dijah Communication. That didn't work out marriage wise, and moved to Baltimore for now my third marriage. And now I'm married to someone where I'm having a baby every 20 months. and decided to homeschool, and the world opened up. I did. And I don't want to talk too much about me, but because that's the reason for the book, right? The reason was to actually show women how to get through it. But I had some trials and tribulations through all of that. I did. Needless to say, Dijah's Diverse Training Services was born. We've taught over, I want to say, 65 children to swim in the city of Baltimore and surrounding area. I've homeschooled, over 25, 30 children in our Journey program. We've put children in community college at the age of 14. We've taught neurodiverse children. So this is where I am now, and I love it. I'm teaching women how to start businesses through writing effective business plans and focusing on their target audience. And I'm helping families homeschool because if you know anything about our education system right now, it's gone through some tribulations and some trials. So that's who I am.
Mm. You, I mean, your story, I'm just like, you just keep coming with things that are just mesmerizing me and just, I'm just blown away. And you just do it with such an eloquent, like smile,
Yeah.
grace, the way you're like, and of course, I know when you were going through the stuff, and we're going to definitely talk about in the book, it wasn't feeling like that, and it wasn't always showing up like that. However, you are the epitome of taking those
Mm.
setbacks and turning them into comebacks. And that's why your voice is needed. And I am just so grateful again, number one, that you accepted the invitation to come on here and share your story, be vulnerable and transparent. And number two, putting it in a book. Because that right there, now this is something that is going to live forever and ever on. And your kids are going to be like, yeah, this is my mama. Get a name,
Oh.
get a name right, okay?
I hope so. I pray.
So let's take it back. We're gonna take it back a little bit though, because of course, you going through these different things as an adult, we would like to know what was your upbringing like when you were a child, and would like to know also too in terms of just that culture of literacy. How was that woven into your story to that led you into becoming an author as well? So tell us about your upbringing.
And it was the foundation of who I am. It really was. So I was born, I say in the book, to a jazz drummer who was an Air Force veteran, and a mother who embraced, they both were Muslim when I was born. So I was born a Muslim. My father was Muslim. He took his Shahada from an Air Force, somebody he was in the Air Force with. And my mother wasn't. She was, it was interesting. She had just taken her Shahada, but she was a dancer. My mother actually had her own dance studio in Philadelphia. So, but they both came from the inner cities of Philadelphia. I would say middle class families at the time. But the one thing, and I have to give homage to both my mother and my grandmother. My mother didn't play about reading. Oh, my mother was that mother where you were doing your homework and you didn't know how to spell a word. And she would say, "You see that bookshelf over there? I didn't spend money for nothing. You're going to go find it in the dictionary." We had encyclopedias. Yeah, something that kids today know very little about, right? But yeah, I learned about the birds and the bees because she opened up an encyclopedia and showed me exactly how things happen from the encyclopedia. Okay. So yeah,
Mama.
literacy was something that it we didn't have a lot. But we used to say, because we grew up in the inner city, we would always say that we may not have a lot outside of the home, but inside of the home, we were rich because she supported us in reading. Homework wasn't something that I did because I was looking for some money or a reward. It was taught to me very on that your education will be your way to success. And she wasn't lying because it did. It catapulted me because I had the education I was reading. Or we would get bored. Don't ever tell your mother, my mother, you were bored. You better go get a book. There's enough books on that shelf right there that you can. So I grew up reading Khalil Gibran, Maya Angelou. Yeah, these were the things that I grew up reading as a little girl. So it was something that I knew I had to do and I loved it. It's not like I disliked reading. I really enjoyed it because it was my way of going into another world and creating my own future, if you will. And then my grandmother was a business owner. So she taught me at the age of 11. I worked at her dry cleaners in South Philly. So I learned how to get tips early by being nice to customers. which then turned into my great customer service skills and insurance claims. So yeah, I have to give homage to both of those women. My father gave me the love. He wasn't around growing up at all, but there's some things I believe that are instilled in you from genetics. And that's the empath in me, because I wound up taking care of my father his last 3 years of his life. Although he was not in my life growing up, he called on me to take care of him his last days, and I did. I had to. So yeah, Philly taught me. Philly made me who I am because of the School of Hard Knocks. We didn't have a lot, but we had each other. The back end, and that's why it was called the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection, because your neighbors were your friends. And I'll tell this one story. I used to get on the bus. I used to get one bus, the train, and then another bus to go to Westchester for school, right? And I would meet this roofer at the corner of the bus stop every morning, because I had to get out. I had to be out there by 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning just to be able to make it to class on time. And he would be out there with his coffee, and he would motivate me. He said, "Ah, you're here again. That's right. That's right." He said, "You're gonna make something of yourselves." And I looked forward to that little motivational talk for maybe 5 minutes every morning. And he would talk about books. It was so interesting because the hood was about books back in the day. It really was. He would talk about things that he read. And it was a newspaper stand there at the corner. I'll never forget it. And he would be reading his newspaper every morning. And sometimes we would talk about the current events in the newspaper. So yeah, they say reading is fundamental. That's no joke.
Mm,
That's no joke.
And you know my mantra, I say reading is freedom, okay? And
Yes.
for our people, because of all of what you just said, girl, this is absolutely amazing. When you said, because you know, as you see, when I'm looking down, I'm taking my notes, okay? When you're saying stuff that is just like hitting me, and I'm like, man, I gotta put a pin in that real quick. The hood was about books back then.
Yes.
Reading. That piece right there is so important because look, can you tell everybody, so how old are you? Is that okay?
Sure. No, no. I am 56 years old.
Okay, okay. So
Hmm.
we're still in the same age because I'm 52. So, all
Hmm.
right. So, born in let me see, I was born 74, so you were born 70.
69.
69, 69, right.
The end of
So,
69. Hmm.
exactly. Okay, so the end of 69. So we definitely understand growing up in that era. That was the era we both grew up when we saw hip hop come into
Yes.
play. And I just think about how hip hop was built out of consciousness, which was connected to reading, literacy. When you were a rapper, when you understood you had to, disseminate that message, you had to know what you were talking about, which means that you
Hmm.
had to be pretty, very well read. And so I love how you brought that piece in and you said the hood was about books and the fact, though, the community piece.
Hmm.
Oh,
Hmm.
man. That was just so key. And then I just, the part that really, really tugged at my heartstrings when you said how you gave back to your own father, even though he was not present for you growing up.
Hmm.
Right there, that just shows the type of person that you are, and we appreciate you for that. And
Oh.
girl, oh man, this conversation, this right here, not only is it just empowering for me on a personal level, it's also healing as well. And it's a reminder of how we have to make sure we step into our purpose and not let things that have hurt us, right? Things, the trauma, the things that we've been dealing with, we don't let
Mhm.
it stunt our growth. And that's what I'm
Right.
hearing from you. You're not the person who obviously you went through stuff and things hurt you or whatever and they affected you. However, you're not someone who says, I'm gonna let that keep me stuck.
Oh
And
no.
and that's about to trap me. So I
Yes.
want you to talk about how with that having that mindset, how that led you into writing your story.
Mm. Oh, Seisha. Ooh, getting a little emotional for me because this book sat for about 4 years. I wrote it a while. I went and got a coach because I had so much that I have experienced. Because this book doesn't even touch on half of the experiences. There are going to be four more books that come out after it. Because there's a lot. I've had sexual abuse as a child, as an 11-year-old. I've been through that. I've had some really bad marriages. I've had some family members who weren't too nice to me. I've been alone. I've helped a lot of people, important people, and I did not get it back at all. Right. And I sit now and I say, okay, that's where you're supposed to be right now. So the one thing that my mother, oh, may Allah bless her soul, I pray she's in the highest level of paradise, because she taught me that this old saying, one monkey don't stop no show, right? And I had that ingrained in me. My grandmother taught me, I don't care how bad you're doing, you get up, you take a shower every day, and you get dressed as if tomorrow is your success day. And I always, people would look at me and I'm doing bad. People say, you're not doing bad. Yeah, I am. But I'm not going to let it show, because there's no bad thing that happens to you that you should allow to get you stuck. And that's where Dijah was born. People think Dijah is because of my name. No, the company Dijah stands for develop it just as it happens. And the it stands for communication or skill. So what I learned through that, and that's why I came up with that, was that everything that you go through for a purpose and a reason. And if you're not going to take it as a lesson, then there's no reason for it.
Mm.
And there's no way I was going to let trauma not be a reason for my success.
Mm.
So every time I go through something bad or I have a struggle, I say it's the creator giving me another lesson. And I even reference that in the book where I talk about I got my master's degree, right? I don't have a master's degree on paper, but I have a master's degree of life, because the traumas have taught me that in every struggle, there's a lesson. And if you allow yourself to not get bogged down in the trauma of it all, but look at, okay, I'm going to come out of this. How am I going to come out of this?
Mm.
Later on today, I have Mama's Got a Plan. That's a programming that I do for business coaching for women. So every year I give it away to about 3 to 5 women, where I just teach them for 12 weeks, right? I believe in pouring back in,
Mm.
right? If you've been blessed to get 1 ounce of success, you owe it to community. You owe it to society to pour back in. We have no business having success and not pouring back into other people, because it's a blessing, right? To be able to do that. And I teach the women in this session
Mhm.
that I don't care where you are now. Like one woman is telling me, well, I'm in public housing. I can't get ahead because, or I want to get out. I said, whoa, 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 whoa. Some people don't have a house.
Mm.
Some people are homeless. So there's nothing wrong with being in public housing while you're climbing,
Yes.
because you have a roof over your head and you make that a home. That house inside can be a mansion
Yeah.
because you made it that. So
Mm.
yeah, you have to pour back. If I didn't pour back into community, what would be the reason for me going through my trauma?
Mm. Ooh, wee, y'all. I told y'all know how the Reading is Freedom podcast works, right? This is about liberation, okay? And you are speaking liberation talk on here. Okay.
Okay.
Are freeing our people, and in particular, our women, and in more particular, Black women, okay?
Yes.
This is something that we can relate to. It's universal, whether you're a Muslim, you're a Christian, or you do not claim a faith. We understand the trials, the tribulations, the adversity, the struggle, and also the understanding of making a way out of no way. And
Mm.
your lessons are needed. They are just, oh my goodness. And I know a lot of people we hear, and as we know, a lot of these stories, just like all of my guests, similar circumstances. Even if a person may not have dealt with, like, say, hypothetically, maybe low income or whatever but understanding the struggle, understanding the adversity, and then turning it into that
Mhm.
comeback and not staying stuck. And that's why I ask people like you to come
Mm.
to the show, because I'm like, we need to hear these reminders consistently, because we're always being inundated with the trauma. That's the thing. The trauma has not stopped when it comes to our people. If it's not something that we're dealing with personally, we're dealing with the traumas of our people in the community and what they're dealing with, and that affects all of us. And so that's why I just love your message, and it's totally, totally needed. let me know and let us know rather with your book. Tell us about, your process in writing the book. What was
Mm,
it? What was the intention
mhm.
behind writing your book? And give everybody, first of all, the title of your book
Sure.
as well. Hmm.
I'm going to read it. Digging
Yes, please.
Deeper,
Yeah,
right?
and I'm putting
It
mine up too.
sure. It's finding strength, purpose, and possibility through every season.
Mm,
This is only one of 5 parts.
hmm.
Because the story was traumatic, because the story has such details to it, I had a coach. And I say this in the beginning of the book. I didn't give her name because I didn't get her permission to do it. But we went around with this book for a whole year. I wasn't even going to write a book. She's a good friend of my younger sister. They went to high school together. Overbrook High. I'm going to give them a shout out. Um, and she caught me on Facebook and she saw my post and she reached out to me. She said, Khadijah, she said, you're a writer. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm business. I don't have time. I don't write. I just do business. I write curriculums, but I'm not writing a book. She said, sis, I need you to tell your story. She said, I know part of it, but I need it to come out in your words. So I thought around. She said, well, just start writing. And I couldn't write at first. For an entire year, I could not write
Mm,
because I was caught up in the trauma of it all, right? I'm still living some of the trauma. So, how do you write while you're in it?
mm,
Because I'm not a journaler. I'm not a person that journals well. I know a lot of people say journal, 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 but for me, writing about my struggle while I'm in it sometimes keeps me stuck in it because
okay.
I'm still thinking of plan A, plan B, plan C, right? So I can write out the plan, but I can't write out the trauma part.
Mm,
So she and I went back and forth, back and forth. And then I started writing, and then it just started coming, and it just started coming, and it just started coming.
mm,
So then she looked at the book and she helped me organize it. And I have to give her credit for that because she made me realize that this is about 5 or 6 books. It's not just one book.
mm,
But when she edited, she gave me a lot of compliments. She even rewrote it for me because she was like, well, I got to do this and I got to do it. And I said, you know what? The problem is I'm looking for a coach. I don't need a coach because she knew my story. She had lived through some of it with me because she was my sister's best friend. So she was seeing some of the trauma that was going on. And I said, okay, we left each other. No negativity. She's still my sister to this day. I love her dearly.
mm,
Um, I'm gonna give Leona Baker her crown because she deserves it. And she did. She worked with me on this, and she pulled the writer out of me. But I wrote this book because I was experiencing things that I found out other women were experiencing as well.
mhm.
But other women were staying stuck and
Okay.
it was bothering me. And I thought, well, who are you to tell somebody how they should get out of something? Like you're still going through some stuff. Why do you think who you think you are, right? But then I told my story to a few women
Mhm,
and they couldn't believe it. They were like, but you're doing such and such, but you're doing such and such. So you found a way out. They're like, you got to tell your story, Khadijah. So then I said, okay, let me write this book. So this book is a glimpse into the end of the story, to be honest with you. It's not the beginning. This book talks about some experiences I had, and I want to just say on page 31, there's a major error. And I have to say, I am a heterosexual woman. The word wife should have been life, if you read this. And note to anybody that's going to write a book, it's best to pay someone to format. So my team did the editing part, but I thought, me being the mom and this business owner, I can do it all myself. I'll never ever format my book again myself.
mhm,
Ever will I. I will make sure that my team does that part going forward because there were a lot of errors in this book. As you read through, you'll see that.
mhm.
But yeah, I the desire to see someone else succeed
Yeah.
from their trauma is there. It is. It's one of those things. And like I said, I've had people look at me and say, you're not struggling. What do you mean? You're not struggling? Yes. And I have a saying that I say, never, ever, ever apologize for the confidence that you've earned,
Mm,
right? The confidence that you see in me is not me being haughty, not me being arrogant, not me thinking that I'm all of that. No, it's because of the trauma that's in this book
mm,
that I feel confident because I've been down some roads already. I've
Right.
seen some things already. And not that I don't have more struggles coming or I'm not in the struggle, right? It's just that I will never let my struggle overwhelm me. One, because I believe in a higher power and I am Muslim, right? So I believe that my story has already been written for me anyway. I'm just living it out and I'm supposed to learn the lessons through the story. So, yeah, the book was necessary to keep women from going through a struggle
Mm-hmm.
and not realizing that there's still another side. There's a happy side. It's coming. It's
Right.
coming.
Right. Mm. What I love about your story, one of the things that I jotted down was the importance of coaching, having a
Mm.
mentor, somebody there as a guide. Because we know, especially too, in this day and age, we are so accustomed to, we can now, of course, we can go to Google, we can go to YouTube, we can go to Chatty Patty, I call it. Chat,
Yes. Yes.
Open AI, whatever, Copilot, whatever it is you use, you can go there and ask, oh, how do I do this? How do I do that? But there's nothing that can replace that actual person who is there, who is in your ear, who
Mm-hmm.
sees you, who knows you. They're paying attention. I even take it back to when you said the roofer, right? When you say he was a roofer,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
When you
Yes.
said you was looking forward to his voice, his words of wisdom, them few little minutes, he's telling
Mhm.
you, you're gonna be successful now. You gonna get it. You
Every day.
you can't. That's one of the things that you can't get from AI. And I'm not on here talking about how AI suck. I'm not one of the people because yes, I utilize it. I believe it's a tool that you, if you know how to use, you use it to your advantage. However, when it comes to things like this particular piece, the coaching, the mentoring, somebody
Mm-hmm.
who's there who see you, they got eyeballs on you, they feel your energy, right? They believe in you, they believe in your success.
Mm-hmm.
That right there, that is something that we need. And I truly believe that you have demonstrated that from the moment you talked about with the loving eyes of your mother. I needed my mother. I needed her there. Your grandmother, your family, all of that cultivation right there is a reminder to all of us how community is important, family is important,
Mm-hmm.
understanding that, okay, there are people who they see things outside of you that you don't see. And when you have those great people around you with that wisdom, that good self, that good talk, not the
Mm-hmm.
negativity,
Mm-hmm.
the possibilities are endless because as we know anyway, with God, with Allah, all things are possible anyway. But
Correct.
but you need that human, you know what I'm saying, presence there obviously to help us along the way. So that right there is just so pivotal. Oh my gosh. How long did it take you to write your book?
So, like I said, this is pieces of other pieces.
Okay. Okay.
It's still being written. I'll be
Okay.
honest with you. This was only the first five chapters. This book you can read in an hour,
Yes.
right? It's not
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
There's about 15 other chapters. So
Okay.
they're going to probably be two, book three, book four, book five. But
Okay.
I'm being intentional before publishing each one
Okay.
because there's a target audience for each one.
Mm.
This one was specifically for women in trauma, right? The next book is going to be directed more towards people, not just women, right? Because I don't want to leave our fellas out there.
Okay. Okay.
There's some dads out there that are going through some things as well.
Mm.
And I really want to talk to becoming a business owner from scratch. That's what the next book is going to deal with. So, like I said, I had to, so there's different pieces that have been written that are just sitting still,
Mm.
right? That's what the hard part about this book was, is that I had to figure out what pieces am I going to pull out. Because at first I was going to just make one big book.
Okay.
And once again, the coach, Leona, she said, Khadijah, you can't do that. She said, you got several books up in here. She said, you got homeschooling, you got business owner, you got coaching, you got motherhood. So one book is going to be all about motherhood because motherhood has been woo woo. My youngest is 13, my oldest is 26.
Mm.
So, and it's eight of them.
Okay.
Right. So it's a little bit of
Big
everything. And there's a set
blessing.
of
That's
twins
right.
in there.
Big
Right.
blessing. That's
And
right.
I'm still learning.
Mhm.
Like to be a mother of children under the age of 15 versus a mother of children over the age of 19, that's another whole level of things,
Mhm.
right? And I will say that my children, I was with my children full time for about 10, 15 years. And through one of the divorces, six of them were removed from me by their father. And that was trauma.
Mhm.
That took me to my lowest low. Oh, that took me because day in and day out, because I homeschooled everybody. All of my children have been homeschooled. None of them have ever been to school except for college. And I have several that are in college right now. One who has a master's degree. She's graduated from Howard. I always got to give Howard its shout out.
My youngest, she's
But
an HU graduate too.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And she was my first homeschooler. She was the first one that I homeschooled. But that my six of my children not being under my roof, me not fixing breakfast for them every day, me not I homeschooled them. I did those through camera. So I even mothered them through FaceTime, right? And through the camera and Zoom because they call we still call and talk to each other every day. But not having them there, I think I cried for a month. I did. I cried every day for a month because it was a piece of me that was taken. Like I literally gave up career to be with my children full time. And now they're not with me. So how do I get through that? So one of the books that I'm writing is going to talk about how does a mother get through separation from children when your children became your whole world. I mean, it just floored me. I think I know I did. I went through a level of depression. I did. But once again, having my grandmother and my mother in my ears, right, telling me always, one monkey don't stop no show,
Mhm.
right? My mother reminding me that Allah the Creator is in charge of it all. Do
Mhm.
you not trust in him? I hear my mother's voice to this day,
Mhm.
patient perseverance.
Yeah.
That's my line that gets me through everything, right? And it's in the Quran, it's in our book, and it talks about patient perseverance. It's not going to happen when you want it to happen.
Mhm.
It's going to happen when the creator decides it's time for it to happen, right?
Mhm.
So that pulled me through that. And I kept working. I
Mhm.
did. There have been times where we didn't have electricity, right? Because I had to basically step out on my own after being a mother full time.
Mhm.
And I didn't necessarily have a job. So I had to make the business work for me. So
Mhm.
it was a struggle through that. But I told people I coached with an LED light from the dollar store. And I still did my coaching. I still did my tutoring. I still did my training. I never stopped. I never stopped working. Never. But it's what kept me sane. So I
Mhm.
tell women all the time going through a struggle like that that tears you apart, find your why. Once you've found your why, you'll
Mhm.
be able to get through a struggle. You will. I don't know if I answered your question, Seisha.
No, no, you absolutely did. And I'm just, wow, I just appreciate you. We appreciate you, your vulnerability and
Mm.
transparency. And I mean, this is, wow, man. I'm sitting with the fact with you saying that six of your children, is there, would you be able to say, was there a reason why that happened, or is that something you don't want to go into?
I'll talk about it a little bit.
Oh,
Um, the person I was married to did not want to divorce.
okay.
So they knew that the children were my lifeline. And this is the way of trying to force me, I think, to stay in the marriage. And I really, I would normally not talk about it, but I'm at a point in life now where, once again, I'm not apologizing for the confidence that I've earned. I'm not apologizing for the traumas that I've gone through. And it was crazy because my children on swim team. So they were swimming in club swimming, Maryland swimming and USA swimming at the time. And we never stopped. So he would bring them to me to still keep homeschooling them sometimes until that even broke apart. And I was still taking them to swim practice. So I would still see them, but
Okay.
couldn't put them to bed at night.
Okay.
And my youngest at the time was 2. He cried himself to sleep for years, right? Because mom wasn't there. Like, mom's the one that we wake up to in the morning. right? Every morning they come into my room and say, Assalamu alaikum, good morning, mommy. No matter what the struggle was we were going through, right? At night, we always kissed and hugged, right? My mom wasn't a touchy-feely mother, so I was determined I was going to be that touchy-feely mom, right?
Really?
So yes, that love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tonight, my 25-year-old son with Down syndrome, before we go to bed at night, Mom, you forgot to give your son a hug.
Yeah.
Okay, baby.
Come on.
Okay, baby, come
Oh,
get your
that's
hug
right.
and kiss.
Give me my hug. I know that's right.
So yeah, that it was, and for whatever reason it was that it happened, it tore me apart. I don't think I had ever had a trauma. Even my molestations as a child were not as harmful as this was to me. Because these were parts of me. They're my babies. To this day, I told them, I don't care how old you get, you're gonna always be my baby. Right. But the thing that I loved about it is that they kept in touch. They still, yeah, I get phone calls now from my sons, Mom, I'm just calling to check on you. I'm
Oh,
like, okay, now, really, really,
oh,
right?
yes, really. That is beautiful.
Yes, we love each other, and because of that, no one can ever separate. My girlfriend told me that. She said, "You raise those children. You don't have to worry. They'll remember you, and they'll remember the things that you did." And they do. They sit around now telling stories about the good old times, right? And I
Oh,
laugh at you. What did you all know about good old times, right? You guys are still young, but yeah, yeah. That part of me still has not healed 100%.
I got you.
It has not. Yeah.
I understand. I just, yeah, and when you said, I mean, of course, being a mother of seven and understanding, being a mother of seven, being married, a few times, first to my first husband and then my second husband, we were married, then divorced, then got remarried, then divorced. So I understand, just going through that. But just like you said, when you are a mother who is dedicated, a mother who understands where she made mistakes. You own them because that is me all day.
Mhm.
My kids, I still apologize for the things that I've done and, decisions that I made, all of those things. But just like you said, that lifeline, that piece when you have your babies there,
Mhm.
it really, but again, like I said, you are when I think of perseverance, Khadijah, girl, you popping up in my head. I'm just like, subhanAllah, man, you ain't no joke. I see why you have these training services. Like now, I need you to tell us about Dijah's diverse training services, and I
Mhm.
know you put in there as well about being teaching. Did you say over 6,500?
No, I wish.
Over 65 children to
Mhm.
swim, which I love because, and these Black children predominantly, Black and brown children?
All of them.
Okay. So that
Mhm.
right there, that piece is important, which I know you can definitely touch upon, the importance of that in our community and how,
Mhm.
we have those statistics of a lot of our kids drowning yearly. So that empowerment piece. But yeah, tell us about that, your training services.
Sure. So it started off because my children were blessed to, if you know anything about Baltimore City, and I have to say this growing up in Philadelphia, Baltimore is one of the only urban cities that I have seen that has swimming available. Right? They have it, I know there's over 20 pools in that one city alone, right? So Baltimore doesn't play about this. And there's a history behind that. And I don't want to go too far into that because that's really deep, about a Black child drowning in Baltimore because they weren't allowed to swim in the city pools. Yeah, that's another story for another day. But my children were blessed to be trained under Russell Williams. I mean, he's since passed, rest his soul. But he was the first African American coach to be inducted into Maryland Swimming Hall of Fame. And I talked to him, and he said the reason why he started the swim team was because he needed lifeguards because the city didn't have enough lifeguards at the time. And this was, I think, back in the early 80s that he started the team.
Mm.
So my children got the opportunity to train under him. And when I tell you, most times we were the only Black team stepping on deck at some of these swim meets. So that was a lesson in itself. The coaching, Ben was another coach, Tiffany, Coach Dee Dee. These are, I'm giving shout outs because I believe in giving flowers. These
Yeah.
are all people that poured into my babies. And
Mm.
because they poured into my babies, I felt we had the obligation to give back. So we had Camp Achieve one summer. We were able to get the pool for the summer and we started doing swim camp. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm not really a good swimmer. All eight of my children are. Even my son with Down syndrome can swim circles around me. But I was a mom on deck. I didn't miss a swim meet. I was at practice. So we were at practice 6 days a week, right? We were at swim meets every weekend for the most part, except for the month of August. I was on deck at somebody's pool somewhere, screaming and hollering and cheering on the whole team, not just my babies, but the whole team. We were a family, Baltimore City Swim Club,
Oh,
definite family. Now it's not in existence anymore, unfortunately. But I decided that after that first year of camp, I think we did it for something like $300 for 6 weeks. It was really, really inexpensive. But we did that. And then the sister Latifah, she came in and she helped me with that. And then my ex did too. So the three of us ran the camp together. The
okay.
success of that camp that year made me continue doing it because the parents kept asking, are you going to do Camp Achieve again? Are you going to do Camp Achieve again?
Mm.
So I kept doing it. And then after the success of it, I incorporated it into our homeschool program. So we're going into our 11th year of doing homeschool. We do it virtual, and then we have in-person co-ops in different locations.
Mm.
But that's a part of the program. So anybody that's in our they're in Maryland with us, they get free swim lessons as part of the homeschool program.
Ooh.
So yeah, because swimming was what kept my children focused through the homeschool program. They could not have been as good of swimmers if they weren't homeschooled because the schedule was so rigorous,
Yeah.
right? And then the eating, right? Because I was cooking everything from scratch. Right. We even had a garden at one time. One summer I grew all of our fruits and vegetables. So, and it's not like we had a lot of money. It wasn't about having the money, it was being resourceful. So my children, we called ourselves a team. To this day, they call themselves the KX, right? So we just worked together. But it was because of the swimming piece that the homeschool was able to grow along with swimming. So now Baltimore Parks and Recs, they work with us and they allow us to utilize the pool for our peer-to-peer swim. And this is where lifeguards under the age of 21 teach children how to swim. So that's why it's called peer-to-peer. Yeah, the children teach the children how to swim. And I love it because the kids learn so much quicker from children, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Ooh. They do. Oh man, because of the relatability piece, right? It's
Yes.
like, wow. Says your story, somebody need to do a documentary on you. I'm from straight up.
I'm just one. I'm just one out there.
Just, I mean, I'm just like blown away. But you know what though? I know I think about though like our old school folks, right? I think about our ancestors, and I'm quite sure when they hear this and they listen to your story, they're like, she's just an extension of what we do, right? For real.
Yes.
And that's why, I mean, even though I'm like, I'm looking at you in awe, but I know that there are lots of folks, like you said, you're just one of many and this is a part of our culture, and that's the part of having community. And that's why I love what I do, having conversations, having this podcast, because we get to listen and hear these stories and be reminded of our greatness and
Hmm.
be reminded of the fact that it doesn't matter. God does, what is our verse in the Quran? Allah does not place a burden on us greater than we
Greater
can
than you can bear.
bear.
Hmm. That part. Ooh, I use that to this day because like I said, struggles haven't stopped. And I want to sit here and smile. Anybody that knows me, you follow me on any of my social media platforms, you'll see I have been authentic.
Mm.
And I believe in authenticity, right? Because if I give you this great big bling bling, my business coach and I, Tikwa Scarborough, we talk all the time about how we're not trying to do the bling bling thing
Mm.
because that's not reality,
Yeah.
right? My goal is to teach children and families and women when I do business coaching,
Mhm.
how to remain sustainable. That's the mission of Dijah's Diverse Training Services, right? Teaching families and individuals how to remain sustainable through business and education. So if I'm not authentic in what I do, it can't happen.
Mhm.
And this came literally, like you said, old school. My grandmother,
Yeah.
something as simple. So she had a dry cleaners, and she had a pressing machine,
Okay.
and we would literally heat our lunch up on the pressing machine. That's how hot it would get, right? But she taught me customer service, right? So she taught me how to make sure that the pants were folded correctly on the hanger, to make sure I always smiled when the customer came in. I made so many tips at an 11-year-old just from knowing how to treat people, right? And that was the other thing I talked about in the book, being an empath. And this is something that I think a lot of us, especially women, African American women, don't realize.
Mhm.
And I used to think of it as a negative,
Okay.
right? But I've learned to embrace it. When
Okay.
I walk into a room,
Yes.
I feel everything that's going on in that room. And
Mm.
I do mean everything. And I used to think of it as a negative because it makes me emotional sometimes. Even when we have our board meetings, I'll talk to my board because I can feel what's going on, or I'm talking about a program that's done really well, or one that hasn't done so well. I'll start tearing. And I used to hide the tears. I don't do that anymore. And
Oh.
I want to stress to women out there that are going through what they're going through. Allow the motions to happen. Tears does not mean weak. It means growth.
Mhm.
Because when you can allow yourself to tear through something, you're allowing yourself to feel. And that's something that I think we as a society have gotten away from. This concept that it's not okay to feel, that you have to look a certain way, you have to act a certain way, and nobody's supposed to know that you're feeling. No, we need to be able to feel. That's when we grow. Because once we felt the pain, we're going to reflect on it and then look forward at, okay, so what's next? What are we going to build from that pain, right? Remember the trauma in it, because you want to remind yourself, well, what mistakes did I make when I was going through that? What did I feel that I went through that I don't want to feel again?
Mhm.
Or what part of that did I felt that I want to feel again?
Mhm.
So yeah, it's very important. That feeling part is, ooh, if I can't stress enough, allow ourselves to feel. It's
Mm.
really important.
Man, I'm sitting with that for a minute because you are reminding me to do that for myself. And even though I can definitely, I'm gonna give myself a little pat on the back. I've come a long way,
Mhm.
okay? Because I definitely have been someone who's been looked at as, oh, you so hard, you know what I'm saying? You got this, I'm, that type of person. And a lot of that comes from that was a what is that called? A coping mechanism,
Yep.
guess you would say, my self-defense armor. I
Your
got
mask.
a
Mm-hmm.
mask. I gotta put up the wall, right? I gotta, I'm tough, you know what I'm saying? I went through this. But like you said, man, like it's okay to just feel relaxed. And I found myself in positions like that where I'm like, man, why do I feel emotional right now? Why do I want to cry? Or then if like say if I'm on my cycle or something, like, okay, I know what it is because I'm on my cycle. It's like it doesn't matter. Don't
Thank
try
you.
to blame it on, or put it on it. Okay, fine. It may be, you're more sensitive during this time of the month, but it may
Mhm.
not be.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
It's like if
Right.
something
Mm-hmm.
actually affected you, you
Yep.
helping us. Give us ourselves that permission to be
Thank you.
human. Because that's what it is. It's
That's who we are. We forget that we're not a machine, right? And especially African American women, because we always been told, take it on the chin and keep going,
oh
right? Or,
I
what's the saying they used to tell us? Don't cry, 'cause I'm gonna give you something to cry about.
yes. Oh,
Well, I'm already crying. I don't need nothing else. Do I really need something else to cry about?
you.
Yes.
Obviously I'm crying. This hurt. I'm like, these ain't fake tears. This for real.
Yes.
Like,
Yes. And I had to learn to give myself permission to do that. I've been used, I've been abused, I've been walked over, but I don't look at it as, oh, I was dumb. I used to think that, oh, I was just dumb. I let them take advantage of me. No, I tell people all the time, I now know who you are. I
mm,
see you. I
mm,
see you because you saw me in my most vulnerable point
come on.
and you took advantage of it.
Yeah.
right? So this is the lesson to learn through that struggle. You
Yeah.
get to the fork in the road, and if in fact you don't know what the signs are saying,
Yeah.
you don't know which way to go.
Yeah.
But when you get to that fork in the road and you can read those signs clearly because they have shown you who they are,
Mm-hmm.
because you were vulnerable. If you're not vulnerable, nobody's going to show you who they are.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to keep trying to hide it, right? But the minute you are vulnerable, I promise you, individuals will start to show you who they really are.
Yeah.
Now you know which road to take,
Mm-hmm.
because now you know, oh, that's who you really are.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I know to look out for you.
Mhm.
Or and it will repeat the same behaviors.
Yeah.
You'll notice that people will repeat the I in the book I talk about how I'm like a honey to a bee with
Mm-hmm.
narcissists. Because I'm an empath, narcissists are grown. They just come to me. They do.
Mm-hmm.
And I have had my share. And I thought it was only men because I've dealt with both women and male narcissists, right? And it was a time when I would just be, oh my gosh, you're making me so angry. Why did they do this to me? Mm-mm. I can block now. I now know how to block myself from a narcissist. Why? Because I allowed myself the vulnerability, but I also saw the patterns. And I don't use the word narcissist lightly because everyone wants to use, everyone out there that shows narcissistic behavior is not necessarily a narcissist. Because there's some behavioral pattern. I can get into that in another whole session. There's behavioral patterns, right? But yeah, I now know how to see the patterns. But had I not been vulnerable, I would have never learned those patterns.
Mm-hmm. And and thank you for saying that with the narcissist piece. You made me
Mhm.
think about, I just jotted down her name, my dear sister, Kalima.
Yes. Awesome book.
Yes.
Awesome
You got her
book.
hidden in plain sight?
Yes, ma'am. I bought that
Now,
book last year.
come on.
Hmm.
I bought that book for myself, gave copies away. Okay. Shout out to her.
I've interviewed her on our podcast.
Yeah,
Yes.
same here. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. She broke that down in a
Analytical all the way.
methodical way. Okay. And that's that analytical background, though. Again, taking that background piece that she had, that she was blessed with,
Hmm.
turned it into that
Hmm.
powerful book, like you said, man. Just breaking it down, like making us remember, or letting us know, rather.
Right, right.
Narcissism is not this word that you just start tossing around. And yet,
No,
some people have bad behavior. I love about you. Some people just have bad behavior, and they have
that part.
recognized that. Okay.
Hmm.
I was just like, wow, man. So I'm thank you for reminding us of that. Ooh, girl, this conversation, we can go on and on. And I
I
know
know.
you have so many things to take care of to keep empowering. But what I would love for you to do is, I know I wanted you to just talk about briefly, though, with your homeschool services, because
Hmm.
especially now we are getting ready for folks who are about to start their kids back into school. And you
Hmm.
have, parents there on the fence. They're trying to figure out, should I put my kids back in this system that
Right.
don't want no good for our babies anyway?
Hmm.
Or and listen, if you're a person and you got your kid in the school and you like really love it, of course, if it don't apply, let it fly. All right. But I'm
Yes.
talking about for those who are struggling with, should I put them in the school? You don't really care for whatever the case, and you're thinking about homeschooling. Sister Khadijah can school you right now on it.
Yes, yes, yes. So if you have a neurodiverse child and you are struggling with your school system, you have several options. And I'm just going to I have to talk about my neurodiverse babies. I say special ability babies because neurodiverse normally covers autism, ADHD, and those kind of things. But we don't want to forget our Down syndrome babies, our dyslexia babies, right? Anyone that has a special ability.
Yes.
If you are struggling with them in school, you can homeschool. Not that it's good for every child, and I would not sit here and say every child should be homeschooled. But I would say think about that. You can hire an advocate. We help out with that.
Mhm.
That will help fight for you within the school system to make sure your child gets the services they need. Or you can homeschool. So within Teachers Diverse Training Services, we teach families how to homeschool. We will homeschool your child for you, whether you want all the subjects or whether you just want one or two subjects. We support families. So we have a program called Parent Empowerment Hub where we meet once a month. And it's not just for homeschool parents, because on our board, we actually have a behavior analyst and we have a licensed family and marriage counselor. So we try to make sure that we are empowering the family. Homeschooling is something that is a lifestyle. If you're going to homeschool, do not think that you are going to replicate the standardized schooling that your child is involved in during the school day. It does not take 8 hours to homeschool your child. And I want to say that again. It does not take 8 hours to homeschool your child. What your child experienced during COVID was not homeschooling. If in fact they came in from school and they went on the computer, your
Mm.
child should never be sitting in front of a screen for more than 45 minutes at a time. I'm just going to be honest with you. In our program, we do 35 at max 40 for children, right? They may have several sessions throughout the day, but
Yes.
they will never sit in front of a screen for more than 40 minutes. If your child is sitting in a screen for more than 40 minutes at a time, that is not good for anyone.
Yeah.
I know me as an adult, when I go to online seminars and it's 2 hours, I'm sitting there like,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Thanks. You look looking like the cartoon eyes.
Yes, like what's
Like,
going on?
yeah.
Another thing is your child should not have to sit still to learn. I
Mm.
am sorry, but this concept of sitting up, sitting straight, and being still and not eating, because I tell my kids all the time when they come into our program, you better bring a snack, because Miss Khadijah may be eating a lollipop or an ice cream cone while I'm teaching. So I don't know about you, but I love to learn and eat at the same time. The only time that I don't, which is a struggle for me, is Ramadan.
Right,
It's the
right.
only
Gotta
time, right? And I tell the kids ahead of time, it's a little rough on Miss Khadija. I didn't have no
I know,
coffee
right?
today. I'm not eating
Look,
right now, so hang
look,
in
look
with
up.
me. Yes. But other than that, I expect like one child I did a summer enrichment program and the mom was taking the chips away from her. And I was fighting with the mom because she had her chips. She didn't eat breakfast. Up, baby, I can't support you on that one. You should have eaten your breakfast because other than that, Miss Khadija would have fought for you to have your potato chips while we were in our session.
Mm.
Right? So
Okay.
yes, homeschooling is a way of life. It's a way of thinking about your child's education.
Mhm.
A third thing I want you to do when you homeschool is talk to your child about what they want.
Mhm.
We need to stop force feeding our children curriculum.
Mm.
That is the worst thing to do, right? In our program, the curriculum is built around the child. So we don't even complete our curriculum writing until after we've met the child. So the first week of our curriculum is children playing games, and that's how we're evaluating them. They come on and they play games together in a group. And
Mm.
then we decide which group we're going to put the child in. And then we build the curriculum based upon that. The parents should be fifth, the parents should be actively involved in what's going on. If you're homeschooling your child and you haven't spoken with me and your child is in my program, oh, you're going to get some emails, you're going to get some texts, you're going to get some phone calls because I need to know what's going on at home. Your child may have shown up looking different, acting crazy, didn't show up at all, right? So now we need to have a conversation because maybe I need to help you do some things at the dinner table. Maybe I need to help you do some things when you're getting your child dressed in the morning, right? I tell parents all the time the best time to teach a child is not when we're sitting down with paper and pen, right? It's in those moments of life that are happening where you're having conversations about things. A lot of times, my reading and writing curriculum is taught through conversation with the child, right? We do that. I may throw a picture up on the screen. Now we're going to talk through it. Once we've spoken through it, now we're put it down in writing.
Mm.
Yes, pull out paper and pencil. Everything should not be on a keyboard or a touch screen.
Mhm.
If your child is logging into an automated program, then you need to be doing some conversation after the automated program. You must. So that's the diverse and Dijah's diverse training services. We literally are doing things, we develop it just as it happens. It does, it happens that way.
Mm. Excellent. That you broke that down in such a great way to where it was easy to relate to, very
Oh,
palatable.
good,
But I was
good.
wow, man, your story, your journey, and your authenticity, your transparency, vulnerability, your realness, your dopeness, all of those things was felt in this conversation. And
Mm.
we appreciate you tremendously. Oh, wow. You are truly a blessing, sis. You,
Inshallah, I try. I'm doing, I told my children, I'm here to serve. right? I'm in the second half, like I'm 56. So I'm in that second half of
Don't
life.
crack, by the way. Ah,
And
you're looking gorgeous. Go ahead. I just wanted to
mashallah. This
yeah.
is all blessings. It has nothing to do with me, right? But this is what I do until I hit my grave. I can't sit here and have a lifestyle that's comfortable if I haven't served. I
Mm,
just can't do it. So I thank you for giving me a platform, right? And a place to share with people because I need my voice to be heard because I need it to have impact on people's life. Yes, we're a business. Yes, I want to make money. We are a 501(c)(3), but I do, I still have to pay bills. That's still a reality of a situation, right? That is.
oh,
But if I'm charging you for something, you need to leave with more than what you've paid for, in my opinion. If you have not left with more than what you've paid for, I haven't done my job.
right.
Because if I have to teach you how to develop it just as it happens. And
Mm,
my goal is for you not to need me after some time, right? If you're with me for 10, 15 years, I've done something wrong.
ooh,
Because like I said, at 14, your child's going to be in community college if they're with us. Because we just believe that that's not every child, right? Every child is different.
right.
But we've put neurodiverse children in community college at 15 and at 16, right? And I had one. I'll tell you this once, and I'll let you. I won't keep it.
Yes,
But
please.
I
Yeah.
had this one mom that she was in our umbrella program, and I was teaching her how to transition her. At the time, I think he was 13 or 14 in the community college, and she kept looking at me. She since joined our board, but she looked at me and she said, "Khadijah, this you sure? You sure?" I said, take your notes. Do everything I tell you to do in the way I tell you to do it. I promise you, you will have success.
Okay.
That baby has graduated now. I think he's going to a 4-year college at 16. So she listened to me and she came back and she said it. She said, I don't know why I didn't get it at first. She said, Dijah takes a minute to get. Develop it just as it happens is something that, and it does. But when people get it, they have those aha moments and they say, now I see what you're saying. I get it. You gotta sip on the Kool-Aid a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
No, that's right. But you reminded us too, we can't skip the process. We expect, even if somebody pays for, a program or something like that, we're like, okay, so I paid for this program, so I should see results in like a week, right? 2 weeks is like, if you're, listen, if you're in a program and somebody is telling you that, oh, wow, I can work miracles, then you're in the wrong program. You need to be in a
Yes.
program where they're telling you, oh, no, baby, this takes work. That's what I tell the student. That's what I tell the parents when I'm
Hmm.
training my students. I'm a
Hmm.
miracle worker. We're
Right.
in this together. That's why I say I am your partner in
Hmm.
education. I am your child's and you literacy partner, right? So we're working together. This is not no, I come in, they come, and then it's like blah, 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 blah. Presto, you can read now. Go ahead and read the autobiography of Malcolm X, girl.
This
Shoot,
is not TV.
yourself.
This is
I can deal with
not
it for about
TV.
2 weeks. Like, no, that's not how this works, okay?
Hmm.
Process, baby.
And I want to say, Sasha, thank you for all that you do. Because you are doing amazing things in literacy. I mean, amazing. You and I have some projects coming going forward. We're not going to talk too much about that right
Yup,
now. But
yup.
thank you. Thank you. When I watch your videos and I see some of the work that you are doing, I see the love of reading coming back again. I see the children's eyes light up. I see the energy that you give. So thank you.
Mashallah, thank you. I appreciate you. You're welcome. I received that. And of course, I always say, Alhamdulillah, all praises due to God,
Always.
for me, leaning into my gifts and my purpose. So, yes, definitely. What I want to do is ask you last thing, well, two things. Number one, what book are you reading? And then I need you to let everybody know where they can follow you and support you and get your book.
Mm.
So,
So I am currently reading, I'm researching. So I haven't found the book particular, but we are this year, I am researching a relationship between a Native American and a Buffalo Soldier throughout our country. So, anyone out there listening, you have some suggestions for some good books? Because I research before I read a book. I'm not a person to just pick up a book. But I want some books on that, not just for my babies. All of my students are my babies,
Mm.
but for me as well. That's a relationship in our country that has not been explored to the level in which I'd like to see it explored, because there's a real relationship there. What was your other question?
I wanted you to tell everybody where they can find you as well,
Oh,
and
sure.
also where they can purchase your book.
So our website is Dijah's, Dijahs training.org. If you'd like a consultation, you can always email me at info@dijastraining.org. I'm on Facebook at Khadijah Steward, LinkedIn, Khadijah Steward. We do have a site, Dijah's Diverse Training Services is on LinkedIn as well. We're at Dijah Communication on Facebook and Instagram, I do believe. We have the Youth Leadership Program starting up. They're doing Boss Girl Collective. So we have some girls building some leadership programs with girls as well.
Mhm.
So, yeah, we're all over. But if you'd like one on one, so all of our consultations for homeschooling are free until September right now. So you can go ahead and email me, Khadijah, Khadijah, at dijastraining.org. And we can get you scheduled up for a 30-minute consultation just to see where you are with things. In Maryland, next Saturday, I will be at National Hawk in Baltimore. And next Sunday, I'll be at PGMA in Lanham, Maryland. So we're trying to share with the community a little bit about what's going on in the homeschool world, because folks are feeling left out with education, but there's no need for that. You can educate your child and you can find help to educate your child. And it does not have to cost an arm and a leg. It does not.
Right. Oh, wow. And where can they purchase your book?
Amazon,
Okay.
definitely.
Okay.
Digging Deeper. I'll read it again. Finding Strength, Purpose, and Possibility Through Every Season is available on Amazon. You can do Kindle or you can do the paperback. And look, I'm working on the next one.
Yes. You know we're looking forward to that. I've already read her first one. Okay. Yes. I'm going to show the book.
That's it.
Okay. I read it, and yes, it is a must read. I got through this and I was just like, I did not want to put it down. I finished it. Like she said, it's literally what?
It's little. It's really, really
Little.
little.
But and that's what I like though too. Like I was telling you before, we are in a day and age now where folks
Mhm.
are not really into reading the lengthy books. And so if you want something that you can just kind of gobble up like bite-sized and it's like a really good relatable read and empowering, y'all need to get this book immediately. So
But page 31 is life, not wife.
got you. Got you. Yes,
I want to make sure.
they know, look, okay. Yeah, y'all, if y'all don't know, y'all better know. All right. That's
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. We're gonna say less. We're gonna say less.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, again, I thank you so much, Sister Khadijah Steward, for being a guest on the Reading is Freedom podcast. We thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
You are very welcome. Yes, indeed. So, again, thank you all for listening to another episode of the Reading is Freedom podcast, where we come to unlock our minds and reclaim our power. I am your most gracious host, Miss Sasha, and you all please take care. Remember to keep reading for at least 30 minutes a day. And remember, reading is freedom. Peace.
Peace.
All right, everybody. I hope that you all enjoyed the episode of the Reading is Freedom podcast. And of course, most importantly, I hope that you all gained benefit as well. Just wanted to share with you all I am a pre-K through fourth grade reading tutor, and I'm an Orton Gillingham certified dyslexia tutor. If you are in need of a reading tutor for your child, if they need that reading support, or if you just want to just keep them abreast of what they already know, then please reach out to me by going to abclearntutoring.com and click on the free reading assessment today. And yes, I do tutor online. Also, I'm the founder and executive director of ABC Read, a nonprofit organization that I started over 10 years ago with our mission to develop and nurture a culture of literacy in Black and underserved communities. If you would love to help out our organization by giving us donations, whether it is monetary or you can also donate books, people have done that as well. Please go to our website, abcread.org. And also, I wanted to share with you guys, of course, that, and you all, a lot of you see my podcast on my YouTube channel, Reading is Freedom. Make sure that you like, subscribe, share, and hit the notification bell. All right. So make sure that you guys are doing that. And if you are interested in getting my merch, Reading is Freedom. All right. Merch, go to readingisfreedommovement.com. Readingisfreedommovement.com as well. And I just wanted to share with you guys this book that I've been reading. All right. Malcolm in the Desert, Wisdom from the Spiritual Transformation of Malcolm X, by his beloved, beautiful, extremely brilliant daughter, Ilyasah Shabazz. All right. This book right here, a little close to halfway through the book rather. And I love how she is connecting him making the Hajj, which is the pilgrimage to Mecca, which is one of the 5 pillars of Islam, and him making that Hajj, and how she's relating that Hajj, that spiritual journey, and how we all go through spiritual journeys and, different transformations in our lives. And so it's definitely an eye-opener. I believe truly that books find us, all right? Meaning that this book right here, this book found me. All right. I'm in a place in my life where I'm definitely thinking, of a lot of options. All right. That I think is very important for us to think about, especially as Black folks here in this place that has been anti-Black. Okay. So with that being said, I hope that, again, this was very beneficial. I thank you all for listening. And also, I have the link in the description for you guys to grab a copy of this book here, the book that I have co-written with other 9 beautiful women, Her, Healed, Empowered, Resilient. You can grab your copy from Amazon as well. All right, you guys. So thank you all again for listening to another episode of the Reading is Freedom podcast. And you all take care. And please remember to keep reading for at least 30 minutes a day. And remember, reading is freedom. Peace.